folks, and welcome to the 45th running of the Daytona 500 today. This is one of the most anticipated races of the season and pretty much of this entire speed weeks, other than the duels that we had this past Wednesday that y'all seem to really enjoy. And I was really proud about that. I'm also happy that you guys are really seeming to enjoy pretty much all of this. And I'm having a lot of fun making it, and I'm going to try to do a little something where I do a play-by-play, which is this, and in-car racing, which is the usual. So hopefully you guys will enjoy both, but yeah, I think it's about time to stop talking and go on ahead and jump right into this race. But first, let's get to the starting lineup. So to start off this Daytona 500 starting lineup, we have in row number 1, we have the DEI boys and teammates of Michael Waltrip on pole, and Daytona Jr. 2 is outside. And then in row number 2, you'll find Kevin Harvick and 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series champion Tony Stewart. Row 3 is Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Row 4, Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman, the 2002 Rookie of the Year. Row 5 will be Jeff Green and Dual 1 winner Jeff Burton. Row 6 will be Dale Jarrett and Jeremy Mayfield. Row 7, Ricky Rudd and his new team at the Wood Brothers to his outside, Matt Kenseth. Row 8, Mike Wallace, who races way in, and Mark Martin to his outside. Row 9, Casey Atwood, who also races way in, and to his outside will be Johnny Benson. Row 10 will be the Labanis of Terry Labonte and Bobby Labonte. Row 11 will be Elliott Sadler and his new team of Robert Yates and Rusty Wallace. Row 12 will be John Andretti and Ricky Craven. Row 13, Bill Elliott and Joe Nemechek. Row 14, Starling Marlin, who's looking to have a bounce back after having his 2002 season cut short, and to his outside, Buckshot Jones. Row 15, Ward Burton, last year's Daytona 500 champion, and Dave Blaney. Row 16, Robbie Gordon and Steve Park. Row 17, Greg Biffle and Kyle Petty. Row 18, Kenny Wallace and Hermie Sadler. Row 19, Todd Bodine and Casey Mears. Row 20, Ken Schrader and Larry Foyt. Row 21, Scott Pruitt in what should be the target car, but ain't, and to his outside, Zachary Smithley. And the final row in row 22 is Mike Skinner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most anticipated races of the season, like I said in the beginning. And now it is time to start this race, but we have a couple of old friends to lead us to green. Larry Mack and Darrell Waltrip, to ya!
Candy, Debbie, like I tell you before every race, reach your bed, pull those belts tight, one more time. Let's go racing, boys. Green flag.
Front, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not going to give this first lap to his teammate Michael Waltrip as Tony Stewart pushes Jr. past his teammate, so Dale Earnhardt Jr. can lead lap number 1, the Daytona 500, and now Tony Stewart with help from Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman on his outside. They're going to try to push him all the way to the front as now Tony, he's going to try to go for the lead on Dale Jr. All 43 drivers are able to be shown, which is very cool, especially on iRacing. Didn't think I would be able to do it, but I was able to get all 43, and I was pretty happy about it. Look at all 43 of them. And Tony's still trying to get on trying to get to Junior, but he can't quite get to him. Outside does stack up a little bit, and now 1 and 2 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and teammate Michael Waltrip out front. As they now come to lap 3 of 50, Junior leads the opening 2 laps at Daytona. See Ward Burton back there trying to make the outside line work, maybe. He's got Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 behind him and Bobby Labonte as well, but didn't seem like the outside really started getting going. As right now, it's only 2 lanes, the bottom and middle. As Tony Stewart charging back on Junior. He still can't quite get him. Jimmy Johnson, he has also been a star pretty much this entire Speed Weeks. If he's behind you and it's just you and him, he will bring you to the front. And Johnson's looking to push Tony all the way to the lead, but look at Ryan Newman and Jeff Burton. They're getting tired of Johnson not really able to do a whole lot with Tony, but because he went to the outside, he's now hung out to dry. Casey Atwood back there, he's going to try to maybe go to the outside. Jeff Burton looking to follow. It'd be better for Ryan Newman to tuck back in, but down in the middle. Harvick, he gets the spot. Tony, he's trying to go for it on Junior, but he can't clear him going to 3. Ryan Newman and Casey Atwood are the only two up on the outside. It's kind of a third line that's formed, but not quite. It's still really the bottom and middle. And it looks like Tony is going to lead that lap. Pretty close between him and Dale Jr. coming to the line. Oh, Johnson laid back off Tony a little bit. Looks like he stacked him up a little bit. Johnson definitely did not mean to do that, but that's also going to push him and Tony back and help Casey Atwood and Ryan Newman on the outside, and Ricky Rudd too. Let's not forget about Rudd. He's clawed his way back from deep in the field in both the duels and the Bud shootout to get a really darn good finish in both races. Don't count him out in this one. He might even go for it all if it comes down to it. Still early on in the race though. Waltrip, he laid off Junior. So that's going to allow Tony to drop to the bottom and get in front of Junior and lead that time as well. That's going to keep Johnson and Harvick up on the outside. Yeah, Gordon, it looked like Gordon was trying to get up there. And Biffle back there in the wall. He's all right. He's okay. Not that much damage. He's good. Ricky Rudd is still holding up on that outside behind Ryan Newman. But the main question is can Rudd push Newman to the front like Johnson did back in the shootout and in the duels? As now speaking of Johnson, because Waltrip isn't as close to Junior, Johnson might go for it here on Tony. But Rudd and Newman, they're doing exactly what I thought. They're charging up on the outside. Just those two alone. They're going to be 3 wide entering 1. And they're going to hold it up there on the outside. But Tony, because he's got help from the DEI boys, the Junior and Waltrip, he's able to hold that lead for quite a while. Just got to pay attention to that outside forming, because now Kenseth and Marlin are up there. Maybe trying to make that outside line work. Here comes Ward Burton, the defending winner of this place. He's trying to make something happen. Johnson trying to get the lead from Tony. It's not going to be enough. Here comes the outside. Here comes the outside. And Ryan Newman's going to barely take the lead. But he's going to drop down. It doesn't look like it. He's not clear enough. He can clear Jimmy, but he wants to go all the way to the bottom. We know these AI drivers. These drivers, they want to jump all the way to the bottom when they grab that lead. Waltrip light off a Junior. Looks like he had an issue in the middle of the corner. That's going to allow Harvick to slot right in between the DEI teammates of Junior and Waltrip. The more you separate those two, the better. As now, Tony, Johnson, and Newman, 3 wide for the lead here at Daytona. Tony currently has it because Johnson and Newman entering the corner backed off a bit. But they're going to get the draft, they're going to get the help that they need, and they're going to come right back at Tony. Johnson trying the side draft on Tony. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't quite look like it. He is going to grab the lead for a tiny little bit, but here comes Tony with the help of Junior on the bottom. That outside has now begun to form, as now it has Dale Jarrett, Buckshot Jones, and Joe Nemechek up there. You see Rusty Wallace and Bill Elliott as well. They're up there on the outside. They are still 3 abreast. About 10 rows deep. There was a little stack up around Terry Labonte, but it doesn't look to be dead. Actually, never mind. I was going to say it doesn't look too bad, but it's pretty bad. Johnson's going to grab the lead. He'll lead this time. He drops in front of Tony, which leaves Marlin in the middle by himself. Really still going to try to go for it. but Marlin's pulling him back. Now the gap out front, it was pretty big, but now here comes Tony. He went to the middle. He wants that lead back, but Newman on the outside charges back at him. Rudd and Burton and Jarrett are still behind him. The rookie of Zachary, who started back in 40 seconds up there on the outside. Look at him in that Napa Chevy. There's still 3 abreast for the lead. There ain't really a whole lot of places to go when you're in this type of situation. Even though Mullen doesn't have anybody on him, he's still able to hold it because he's still able to side drop Newman and Johnson just that little bit. Tony back out front with Johnson behind him. That ends. There's Junior really had a real big stack up on the bottom. There's a big gap from him to Kenseth, where Burton and Rudd filled it. Burton and Schrader sticking with Marlin on in the middle. Now the outside line has deteriorated. Well, currently right now is being led by Dale Jarrett, but he slots back into the middle. Because he knows that nothing's going to happen if he goes back up to the outside. Mears is he's peeking out there. He's seeing if anybody wants to go with him. But it doesn't look like anybody wants to go with Mears. Mike Skinner behind him, though. He might. But as if Jarrett behind goes with as well. You need more than just 2 cars on the outside. But as we've seen with Rudd and Newman, you really don't. Looks like the third line is forming again. Mears dropped to the outside. But Zachary, in the 80 back there, he was trying to get something going. Looks like for now, just stable. Junior goes from the bottom right to the middle. Maybe he has a feeling that he can get a run. Get right back to the front. Try to take this lead away from Johnson and Tony. As now there is no third line, and we're back to 2. The dual run winner, Jeff Burton, trying to push Marlin to the front. Marlin's trying to have a bit of a comeback after his very late season crash at Kansas, which took him out for the remainder of the year. He's looking to start the season off strong with the Daytona 500 win. It's the only thing that Marlin can really hope for, is it'll be his 3rd career Daytona 500 if he can get the job done. Looks like he's got Tony cleared a little bit, but that inside, they come right back at him. And the middle does check up a little bit, but not much. Not as bad as it's been all day. Tony is able to hold the lead somewhat. Kenseth light off at Johnson a little bit. That might stack up the inside, depending on how bad it might get. The outside line is actually trying to form again, and it's just Mears out there, and Mears has nobody to help him. He's a sit and duck. But his rookie contender, Zachary Smithly's debating if he wants to go with him or if he's just going to push through the middle. Junior stacks up the middle a little bit. That's definitely going to push them back. However, Marlin, Burton, and Schrader keep it up. They don't lose any ground. And now the outside line has only 3 cars. That being Zachary, Robbie Gordon, and Jeff Gordon. But they're so far back that it doesn't look like anything's really going to happen. But now they got Casey Allen and Benson to go with. They might make a charge eventually as the fight for the lead continues. Look at Zachary in the 80 back there go. Each side drafting the Penske boys of Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace. Trying to keep it up there because Robbie Gordon isn't that close to him. Marlin trying to etch out Tony just that little bit. He just can't seem to quite do it. And the middle line stacks up a little bit from Rusty Wallace backing up off the 12 of Newman. The outside line is forming. Marlin led that time. That outside, it just currently still has 3 cars that are hooked up. Nemechek, and it looked like Mears back there were trying to go with. The middle stacked up from Marlin ahead. That's going to push the outside a little bit more. But Marlin's coming back with Burton. Look at the 80 of Zachary. Holding his own on that outside. Normally rookies don't even go near the outside in their first race. He drops to the middle trying to get a little bit of a draft from Junior. Doesn't look like it's going to be much. Zachary will drop to the outside. Goes back to the middle. Will he go back to the outside going in the corner? And he's thinking about it. Meanwhile, up ahead, Rudd is a little bit off of Kenseth. Thought it was going to help Marlin a little bit because maybe Kenseth, Johnson, and Stewart have went back a little bit, but they didn't. Here comes the outside with Zachary in front with the Gorans pushing him. Zachary is up inside the top 5 with this run. Zachary is not giving up. Look at him side drive. Oh, contact with Burton. He may have tried to side draft a little too much there. He stacked up the middle just a little bit. They drop in the middle to get behind Schrader. The bottom has a little stack up as well with now Kenseth. Marlin is clear of Tony, and he drops to the inside. Marlin out front at Daytona. Zachary drops in front of his team owner, Jeff Gordon. Drops right back up to the outside to go with Robbie. And they have a little checkup. The outside's moving again. But for how long? A little bit of damage on Zachary's left front fender might affect him a little bit, but it ain't affecting him too much though. Just airflow might not be as good as he would like. As it is now Marlin and Jeff Burton fighting out for the lead. That third line, which is being led by a rookie, is insane. Robbie Gordon is trying to push him up to the front as much as he can. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a whole lot out of it. Marlin is able to hold it over Burton, little by little. Looks like Zachary up on the outside is getting a little tight. And like I mentioned before, that left front fender damage might not be helping him all that well. But it don't really matter as he's going to go for it. And oh, Zach's in the wall! Zachary caught the wall. He's still good. He keeps on going. That fender really didn't help. It didn't really help him at all because he was getting pretty tight before that even happened. Now there's a huge gap from Schrader to Kenseth. Oh, there's a big checkup from Gordon. Huge checkup. He brought Joe Nemechek and Kevin Harvick with him because of that checkup. That's going to disorganize the middle really quick. Burton's trying to go for it. Zach's trying the outside. He's trying to see if anybody will go with him. It doesn't look like Robbie wants to go with him. It looks like he's going to go in the middle. Stack up on the bottom between Tony and Marlin. Oh, contact between Robbie Gordon and Zachary. He goes down to Tony. He goes back to Zach. He goes back to Tony. Into the wall goes Zach. Zachary got into the wall because of contact from Robbie Gordon. Is the damage bad enough where Zach can't keep going? He looks to be okay. That's a lot of damage on the right-hand side. You can kind of see it, but the right rear is kind of bent in a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see it back there, too. That right rear is bent in, and he's going to have to come down at some point and fix that. Use a quick repair. That's going to be his only shot of possibly staying in contention. But back up front, Jeff Burton leads at Daytona. Marlin, he jumped to the outside. Pretty sure when Zach was going backwards, he went to the outside and Marlin went to the bottom. Did a little switcheroo to try to get Jeff Burton back. The name of the game now is when do you pit? We're coming up on the halfway point, and around this time is when the drivers are going to be slowly running out of fuel. Even though Marlin's in the lead, Schrader is fighting back on the outside. Newman's going to go to the outside. He's going to try something. He's all by himself, though. He's going to go backwards. If he doesn't get help soon, Robbie Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are going to go with him eventually. Because of that, though, that really pushed Jeff Green and Ken Schrader back a lot, to the point where now Schrader has about a car length of advantage ahead of Schrader behind. And even though Schrader, he's trying to fight back a little bit, Jeff Green, he's jumped to the outside. He's trying to make a move on Ken Schrader, but Jared and Newman, well, never mind. Jared's going to stay with Schrader. Newman's going to go with Green. We're now halfway through the race. And still, it is Sterling Marlin out front with Jeff Burton behind him. Burton, he's trying to win here at Daytona. He had an amazing dual one. He's trying to continue that momentum as he's continuing to fight for the lead. He now grabs the lead off of Marlin, but the run on the outside with Jeff Green has occurred. Green's going to drop down in front of Burton. Burton was leading. Now it's Jeff Green in the AOL Chevy for Richard Childress Racing. His teammate Harvick is third in line. Even though the outside has formed, you definitely want to get to the bottom because of pit stops. You don't get to the bottom and pit when you need it, when you want to come in at the very least. Well, then you're going to have to wait another lap if you don't. And these drivers, they know for a fact that they need to get to the bottom as soon as possible, but is it really that big of a deal for them to get to the inside to come down pit lane, because they may have a few more laps left in their fuel cells to push it, to go a little bit further? That is going to be the main question. When do you pit? It might be in the next coming laps, but these drivers do have to be thinking about it. As now they're catching a slow lapped car of Elliott Sadler, who drops to the bottom in front of Green. But Jeff Green's going to go to the outside. However, Burton can't go with him. Schrader, Jarrett, and Newman will, though. That is going to push that inside line back. Jarrett's going to go for the lead on Green. He'll drop to the inside. Jarrett now in front of Daytona. Elliott Sadler stacked at the bottom enough there to allow Jarrett to get out in front. And here's the first taker. It is Sterling Marlin. Marlin is the first one in to his pit stall. The main question is, do you want to take tires or do you want to take just fuel? And it looks like Marlin got a pretty fast stop, so it looks like he only took fuel there. Now that Marlin's pitted, now that releases everybody else to come in and pit too. They also now realize, they're also being told, as a matter of fact, that Marlin took only fuel. So will the rest of these drivers also take fuel? Here's a couple more takers. Schrader in the 49, Robbie Gordon in the 31 are the two in the main pack that took it. Steve Park, Kenny Wallace, Todd Bodine, Greg Biffle, Kyle Petty, and Larry Foyt also took it. There's a little checkup on pit road of drivers trying to get into their box, but doesn't look all too bad, as it looks like Schrader did exactly what Marlin did and only took fuel. Looks like all the other drivers did as well. And now Dale Jarrett might be looking to come into the pits. Harvick is up on the outside, right behind Elliott Sadler. He might not be able to come in this time if he's looking to. Another one, Mayfield, because Martin's down there. And here they come. Harvick will resume the lead. And now it is Dale Jarrett that lead them on to pit lane. And there's a crash at the back of the pits between Bill Elliott and I think Zachary in the 80. No caution. And Zachary got into his pit wall. Zachary, after getting into the back of Bill Elliott, had no brakes, got into the wall. He did need to repair some damage from the earlier collision with Robbie Gordon. That just kind of hyphened it a little bit more. The leaders did come up on Kyle Petty and Greg Biffle. They're going to pass them now. But they also need a pit. The only one that's not a part of this lead pack is Elliott Sadler in the 38. Here they come. Led by Harvick. There's Mears. Mayfield's back there. Kenseth is back there. Jeff Gordon, Joe Nemechek, Tony Stewart, Mike Wallace. There you see Jeff Green and Dale Jarrett. Scott Pruitt also. Jarrett, he's looking to try to come out in front of this field or this pack of cars, but with everybody only taking fuel, it might not be enough. As Casey Mears, it looks like he's going to come out in front of everybody. Jarrett's just now coming out of 4. And Mears is out front right now. He has a huge gap over Kevin Harvick right now in 2nd. There's Harvick and Gordon behind. Dale Jarrett will be coming up at some point. There's Dale Jarrett. Right behind Kenseth, it looks like. Here comes the 88 of Dale Jarrett. These drivers are just coming off a pit lane. Jarrett has a full head of steam. He's going to weave his way through. He's going to go to the outside of Kevin Harvick. He's going to take 2nd spot away. And now the chase. Now the chase for Casey Mears. Casey's going to lead this time. Jarrett is in 2nd. Gordon and Harvick look to be hooked up. However, Kenseth and Mayfield, they aren't hooking up, but neither is Harvick and Gordon anymore. They stopped hooking up. Oh, Harvick got on the wall. Another car on the wall here at Daytona. But it looks like he's all right, and he keeps on going. Now Gordon, Mayfield, and Kenseth are coming up to the back of Jarrett. Gordon's going to go to the outside of Jarrett. They're catching Casey Mears at a rapid pace. Gordon looks like he's going to take the lead away from Casey Mears as they enter in 3. Jeff Gordon is now back in front here at Daytona with Kenseth behind. Then there's Mayfield, Nemechek, Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Rudd. Casey Mears didn't fall that far back, but because he didn't have any help, he is going to push that bottom line that has Jeff Green and Mark Martin behind him back a little bit. And then there's Harvick and Rusty in the middle. It looks like Kenseth might try to go for it on Gordon. Looks like Jarrett's going to stay with him. There's a huge pack of cars that are led by Tony Stewart and Michael Waltrip back behind this pack. See Kenseth, he took the lead from Gordon. Now Rookie Rudd, he's got help from Mears in the 41, trying to get that outside line working again. But the bottom looks to be more organized to the point where now they might continue to get more runs on him. Rusty can't stay to the back of Harvick in the middle. He's indecisive if he wants to go to the middle of the outside. It looks like Rudd and Mears are gonna have to go to the middle anyways, because they couldn't get anything working up there. Jarrett looking to come back a little bit. These two, you remember these two in the duels? They were fighting it out pretty hard in the duels. And in the end, they both shook each other out with only a handful of laps to go. It looks like, though, they learned from this past Wednesday, or last Wednesday. And they're fighting side by side for the lead with 15 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Tony's pack doesn't look to be catching this pack at all. Looks like this pack has actually pulled away a little bit on Tony's. So they might be all right, but at the same time, you never know. They are catching a slow car of Schrader, who is right now on the outside, but will he stay up there when they catch him? They are coming up on the slow car of Ken Schrader fast. As Kenseth is trying to hold the lead on Dale Jarrett. Where does Ken Schrader go? He's going to go right to the bottom, right in front of Kenseth. And Dale Jarrett takes the lead at Daytona with Harvick and Nemechek following through. Harvick's going to go with it because he's got Nemechek behind him. Kevin Harvick is now out front at Daytona, and it's just the three of them. And because Schrader held up that bottom line, and it affected pretty much the middle line as well, that's going to allow Tony's pack to catch them more. Jeff Gordon trying to follow Schrader, but he doesn't want to. It doesn't look like he's going to go to the outside, but he looks like he's going to keep that run going. Nemechek's going to try to go for the lead. He got it. And Schrader right now, he is not on the lead lap. The drivers that could be going after Nemechek are Nemechek's teammate Gordon and Kevin Harvick in the Rich Childress Chevy on the inside behind him. And then Kenseth, Jarrett, Atwood, Mears, Rudd, Wallace, Green, and Martin also have a shot to win here at Daytona. Schrader, the only one that doesn't in this pack of cars. Look at Tony and his pack. They are catching him at a rate of speed. Nemechek continues to lead because, again, Schrader, he's trying to get that lap back, but he's also in the way of Jeff Gordon trying to get out front, trying to grab the lead. Kenseth now jumps to the outside with Jeff Green. They're tired of being behind Schrader and Gordon. They're going to make a third line now. Tony back there. He's trying to get as much help as he can to get up there because they're close. They've closed the gap. However, it's still Nemechek that leads, with Kenseth and Green the only two on the outside. If Tony's pack catches him, though, there could be more that jump to the outside with him. And Tony Stewart and his pack of cars have caught the lead group. This race has gotten even more interesting now. Oh, Mears got really close to that outside wall. Looks like he got a little tight getting in. It looked like the bottom stacked up a little bit, but they didn't stack up as much as we thought. Kenseth goes to the point. Schrader jumps to the bottom. He's got his lap back for the time, but Kenseth takes the advantage, and he's going to re-put Ken Schrader a lap down. Green has the rookie Casey Mears in the 41 behind him. Mears is still in contention for this. Mears might try to make it full wide. It looks like he just might because Rusty Wallace is trying to get behind Jeff Green. This is not going to work. And in the wall goes Steve Park, Sterling Marlin, and Casey Mears. We knew for a fact that a four-wide move would not work. And now it looks like it has taken Casey Mears out of contention as with Steve Park and also Sterling Marlin. He's also off the pace. They're going to lose a ton of track position, as now all these cars are going to get around them. They both have damaged race cars. And this is not good for either of them. But back out front, Kenseth still holds the lead. But Jeff Green in the 30, trying to continue the momentum on the outside with now Newman and Jeff Burton behind. They're catching yet another slow car in Hermie Sadler. Where does Sadler go? He's going to stay to the bottom just like Schrader did, and Jeff Green's going to go to the front of Daytona, bringing Jeff Burton and Ryan Newman with him. Look at Kenny Wallace in the 33. Where did he come from? He's up to 4th. Ryan Newman takes the lead from Jeff Green. Ryan Newman is out front at Daytona with 8 laps to go. Here comes Burton. Sterling Marlin and Casey Mears come off of pit road with their fixed cars. Gordon trying to make the outside line work. He's going to make it work. He's going to bring Martin with him. Gordon to the front. And it's just him and Mark Martin that are up there on the outside. But Gordon can't get to the bottom because now the middle and bottom have got runs on the 24. Newman edging out ever so slightly ahead of the 99 of Jeff Burton. Trying to keep the lead. Trying to keep the advantage. But Burton comes right back. 7 to go. Jeff Burton and Ryan Newman. They caught a big break when Hermie Sadler was right in front of the leaders. And it was just the 3, and it was just those 2 and Jeff Green. Because now they're in a really good contention to win here at Daytona. Jeff Burton has the lead for a little bit, but Gordon fights back on the outside with Martin behind him. Here comes Rusty Wallace. He's going to fight back too. Gordon drops to the bottom. He's going to drop to the middle, it looks like. He will, but that's about as far as he's going to get. Ryan Newman will continue to have the lead. He keeps it as we now head to 6 to go. And trouble in turn number 3. 3 cars in the wall. Casey Mears is one of them. And there's Terry Labonte in the 5. There's a 3rd car that got involved, and we're being told it is the 80 of Zachary Smithley. And oh yeah, he's got some damage on that car. Not been a good day for him. And oh, Steve Parkus spun out in the tri-oval. What in the world? Park is out in the grass. Here's the replay of the incident in turn 3. Oh. Well, look from that angle that Zachary kind of pinched Terry Labonte down into Mears. He didn't know that Mears was there. Let's ride on board with Terry and see what happens. It looked like Terry was trying to allow Zach in, but at the same time, he was trying to stay off of Zach, and he got into the side of Mears. Let's ride on board with Zach, and let's see if he pinched Labonte down into Mears. Ooh. Yeah, that wasn't really a good camera angle to see if he pinched him down. I don't know if they make any contact. That's what I want to know if they did, but they do have another camera angle, though. This is from the left rear corner panel of Zachary's car. Yeah, it doesn't look like they touched because Zach didn't get any damage from that until Mears came back up and hit him. What a shame for Mears. Right on board with him. He was in contention for the win at one point, too. And a lap down. He's caught up in this. Not good for Mears. Now let's see what happened to Steve Park in the 1. So right on board with him. The caution is out right here. The caution's out. Doesn't look like he hits anybody. He's gonna hit anybody. Oh, we got hit from behind. What in the world? He got hit from behind from either Larry Foyt or Mike Skinner. Well, let's go on ahead and see from the Lightyear blimp. Try to get a better view of it. The caution's out. They're slowing down. Is he parked there? And oh! Mike Skinner got into the back of him. It seems like Steve Park got on the brakes and a little too hard and caught Skinner off guard and he turned him. This is Mike Skinner's POV. Oh yeah, Skinner... Park slammed on the brakes and Skinner had no clue that was going to happen. He had no idea. Tough break for Mike Skinner and Steve Park. And also for Casey Mears, Terry Labonte, and Zachary Smithley. It's not been a good day for Zach, as he's been now involved in 2 different wrecks. The one with Robbie Gordon when he was on the outside trying to go for the lead, and the other one when he was looking to get right behind Bill Elliott in the 9. And looked like he pinched Terry Labonte down a little bit, and when Terry went down, he caught Casey. Well, now it is time for 2 more laps in the Daytona 500. Ryan Newman and Joe Nemechek will lead the field to the green flag. We're back racing here at Daytona. Ryan Newman, who flipped in this race in real life, is looking for some redemption. Can he get that redemption here today at Daytona? I will say, though, Newman has gone a little too far out. Gorham went to the outside to try to make a move on his teammate, but yet nobody went with him at the time. Burton now does, but he's going to go right in the middle. Nemechek's going to stay with Newman in the 12. They're going to be 3 wide, and Burton has a run. He's got his teammate Kenseth in the 17. Mike Wallace trying to make the outside line. In the wall, he goes from contact with Gordon. Mike Wallace made contact with Jeff Gordon, and that sends Mike Wallace back, and now that stacks up the whole field behind. Now it's just this pack that are able to race for the win at Daytona. White flag, one more lap around Daytona. Can Ryan Newman hold on and win over the Hendrick car of Joe Nemechek? Rusty Wallace there in 3rd, his teammate. And then you have Rudd in 4th, Martin in 5th. Those drivers haven't won a Daytona 500, but neither has Newman or Nemechek. Gordon has. Burton, Harvick, and Kenseth haven't. Is Joe Nemechek going to make the move on Newman, or is he going to stay behind him as we come off of 4? Out of turn 4 and into the tri-oval. Ryan Newman is going to get redemption at Daytona. He wins the 2003 Daytona 500. What a race. Ryan Newman beats the odds, overcomes the odds, and rewrites history. He is the 2003 Daytona 500 champion. What a race. Good job to Ryan Newman. Congratulations to Ryan Newman. And of all people, especially 10 laps ago, did not expect it to be him, but he was at the right place at the right time. Well, now it is time to see the finishing results for today's race. Ryan Newman wins the Daytona 500 with Joe Nemechek in 2nd, Rusty Wallace 3rd, Mark Martin 4th, Ricky Rudd with another top 5. And then you got Jeff Gordon in 6th, Jeff Burton in 7th, Kevin Harvick in 8th, Matt Kenseth in 9th, and Jeff Green rounds out Speed Weeks with a 10th here in the 500. And then you have Elliott Sadler in 11th, Mike Wallace 12th, Casey Atwood in 13th, Dale Jarrett 14th, Jerry Mayfield in 15th, Larry Foyt 16th, Todd Bodine in 17th, Tony Stewart 18th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 19th, and Kenny Wallace in 20th. Jr. and Tony were there up at the front in the beginning, but issues made them slip back. And you have John Andretti 21st, Bill Elliott 22nd, Waltrip the pole sitter 23rd, Craven 24th, Burton 25th, Pruitt 26th, Biffle 27th, Labonte 28th, Skinner 29th, and Jimmy Johnson in 30th. And then you have Zachary Smithley 31st, Kyle Petty 32nd, Robbie Gordon 33rd, Dave Blaney 34th, Johnny Benson 35th, Buckshot Jones 36th, Bobby Labonte 37th, Kurt Busch 38th, Ken Schrader 39th, and Sterling Marlin in 40th. And then the final 3 drivers, Army Sadler in 41st, Casey Mears in 42nd, and Steve Park in 43rd. Well then, did not expect this to happen, but here we are. So the point standings are pretty much the exact same as where you finished in the Daytona 500, with Ryan Newman currently leading the championship by only 5 ahead of Joe Nemechek. In this series, to make it a little bit easier on myself, there will be no 5 bonus points for leading the lap. However, it might come back for the next season. It just depends, because calculating it has been a bit of a headache for me, not gonna lie. But thank you all so much for watching. The next race will be at Rockingham. NASCAR's coming back in real life at some point this season, and we're gonna head there in about a couple more days on Saturday. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love each and every single one of you, and goodbye.